That's going to be a malt liquor book review. Actually, I'm not going to review this book because I just came from the book signing. I haven't read this book, but I will drink some malt liquor. Malt liquor. So I got to meet DEEK from Relaxshacks. Man, it was awesome. DEEK, if you're watching, hi, buddy. Chappelle Earl. So I went to Powell's and got micro shelters, 59 creative cabins, tiny houses, tree houses, and other small structures. When I first started watching DEEK years ago, because he kind of like when I built my tiny house, I built a house on a trailer, and people were like, "You don't want to live in that, buddy." Some people like judged my sanity. They said like, yeah, I know a guy that lives in a shed. You know, you're not really like, you know, you're a higher quality of guy than that guy. Like suggesting like, there must be something mentally wrong with me, right? So the whole idea between like Relaxshacks, like DEEK's micro shelters, is that following your imagination isn't wrong. Tree forts are for adults. And also, in your face, people who doubted me, because I lived in that tiny house for 10 years, and now I own this. Now I own a house, and you don't get that ordinarily. A guy working by himself, unless you make a lot of money for some reason, or you spend a long part of your life saving money up. And that's one of the things like living in a tiny house does to you. It teaches you how to live more with less. So I'm going to tear apart the tiny house. Actually, I almost wanted to mention that to DEEK when I went up to talk to him. Oh, let me tell you when I went up to talk to him. I feel like such a fanboy. It's kind of embarrassing. I bet you I blushed the entire time I was talking to him, too. Oh, I'm tearing apart the tiny house tomorrow. I'm going to have all this scrap wood, a huge amount of scrap wood. And I wanted to say, like, hey, DEEK, if you ever want to, like, if you ever want to build a micro shelter, I got a giant backyard and a ton of wood. And I didn't cut any of it either. It's all the original specs. But anyway, I think I'll look through this for some inspiration and try to recreate in the spirit of DEEK, because I do have this big yard, and it would be fun to have a little tiny house, not really tiny house, a micro shelter, cabin community kind of thing, a little micro village. Oh, I forgot to say that the best part of the evening, other than like slideshow, funny dialogue, the people in the audience were funny as well, and a lot of them were like laughers, which I like a lot. All right, so I go up to get my my autographed copy, which actually I haven't looked at the autograph yet. And I'm like, "Hi, I'm Earl," and he's like, "Okay," and he kind of looks at me for a second. He's like, "Do I know you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, from YouTube." And he's like, "Oh yeah, you recognize the mug," which I suppose, you know. Oh man. Wonderful. He thanked me and drew a cartoon. I suppose if you leave enough comments with the exact same picture, like the iconic look of my mug might like etch its way into your subconscious, which I suggest is a good thing. It certainly tickled me pink to be recognized. All right. So malt liquor book review. Really excited. Nashville Modern Fort. I want to build that. Swanky San Francisco Treehouse. That sounds good. A log cabin. This looks a little bit. I don't think I'm going to do a log cabin. They can't all be winners. The Rock Shed. Oh, it's got a drum kit in it. I bet that gets loud. Oh, Diane and Bill's place. That looks familiar. That actually looks great. It'd be kind of neat to, the rock bottom. It'd be kind of neat to build an actual shed. They were talking about, like, do you ever build like a shed that's meant to be like a year-round living environment? It'd be kind of neat to build something else kind of like that. Basically like the fanciest tent you can manage, but not too fancy. Maybe solar panels would be as fancy as I'd go. And a bucket for water. And a special window that I could, when I'm drinking beer, I could pee right out the window straight into the pea garden, which I imagine would be like bamboo or something like that. Maybe the gutters of the house could pour into the bamboo and kind of dilute the pee a little bit. Turn it into liquid gold. Anyway, it was a great night. I'm giddy with, I guess, fanboy excitement.